Hello everybody, welcome back to more Factorio here in Just the Basics 0.16.x. And here's what we set up before. Here we have our wonderful array of oil refineries, pumping out heavy oil, some light oil there, and the main important thing for today, the petroleum gas. Steadily climbing there. Now, we haven't really supercharged that, it's got no modules in it, it's got no engines actually pumping stuff out, but it is at least making us a fair ton of some solid fuel. This is particularly handy for our car over here, because it will in fact increase its acceleration even further, so that it might actually manage to stand a chance to outrun all the aliens that want to gnaw us continually, because it ain't getting better up here. It ain't getting better. Oh boy. We so haven't we about to worry. Okay. So, our primary job for today is to get this petroleum gas over to here, where we can then set it into an array of about 28 refineries to turn that into plastic for our red circuits. And that's the last thing that we need to put together in order to get our next tier of science going. And that will allow us to get, what do you know, military free. And that'll get us a step closer to a tank. Artillery is still going to take a little while, because we'll need military 4 for that, but a tank we'll be able to get once we can get blue science. Also, we're kind of running low on useful sciences here that we can do, so kind of a thing we need to figure out. And trains are a fairly convoluted thing when you get started to them, but once you're actually at the point of having them, they're fairly easy, and I just need to go grab some stone to get us started with this. Now, later on, we're definitely going to want to have a full-fledged system actually handling all of our trains in a nice little rail network, but for right now, we can probably get away with just having a single line going between our gas station and our actual place where we're going to be using the plastic. So, we don't need to worry too heavily about how efficient this is. We don't need to worry too much about how good it looks or well it works, or even how future-proofed it is. So we just need to get to the point of having it. I'm going to need 2 train stops, and more or less as much straight rail as we can put together. And we are not going to need any signals for this whatsoever, because we're not going to have any other trains on this line. That said, we are going to need engine units for our trains. So let's just grab a couple of those. I'll also make a couple of fluid wagons. Might as well make it free. And let's see, where do I have engines? There's the engines. How could I miss them? They're about the size of half of military science just by themselves. Okay, so 2 engines, that's what we want. Your standard train can carry about 4 before it starts to slow down. And then you can add on more engines onto it to actually speed it up. You can do that in general, anyways, if you want it to be going particularly speedy. But for us right now, our main thing is just getting anything put together. We are going to have to move our, overkill array of radars here. There's so many fun names in there. Those are all backers, if you didn't know. Okay. So, if we say that we're going to be putting our plastic production over here, which is fairly a decent space considering our coal is up here, and apparently we don't have a radar up here anymore. Okay, gonna have to see to that at a point. Then we are going to want to have our train stop somewhere in this vicinity, so about there, and we can control it. You can place it down bit by bit, but it's much easier to just click on one of these green arrows, and it will actually then draw shapes as you drag it around. If you hold Shift, then you can also drag it around to wherever you want, and it will go beyond that initial kind of limited range. Which we're going to do, evidently, because it's a lot easier to actually get it to places if you want to do it that way. And we need to go all the way back up here to get it to our gas, and to a certain extent, this is going to require a lot more rails than I am carrying. Huh, okay. Let me just put more of those on here. Grab that again. There we go. Bring it up. There we go. Much easier to do from the map. Anyways, so we take it to about there. Right. Now I have to start laying this out, and that's going to take me a hot minute, because I do not have rails Punch the mole for this. Probably should have. And there we go. So that's our initial line. It is not very clean, it is not very tidy or neat, but it should do the trick. So now we need to put our little stations here. So we'll have one right here. That's our petroleum gas inputs. Let's see if we can get it to a nice purpley color, because that's the color of the petroleum gas. There we go. That should about do it. So, P-gas in. There we go. And we'll even plunk down our locomotives. There we go. If they're facing directly into the station, they will rotate accordingly. They'll actually snap to it accordingly. Okay, snap those down. Attach that. Those little circles and lines mean that they are actually buckled. You can unbuckle them if you like. You can also shift right-click on a station to copy the color for your rails. So you can actually now get them looking nice and pretty like that. And we want this to go up over to the other station. So let's just quickly dump a bit of fuel into these. And you too. And we'll say, come to this station until your inventory is empty, or there has been a certain volume of inactivity. We'll say 15 seconds. You can change that to an and there or an or, so if there's been an empty cargo inventory and you haven't had any interaction for about 15 seconds, then we can go, but we're going to go with or, because those two things are really going to encounter one another. Well, or rather, 15 seconds of inactivity will usually mean you have an empty cargo, but not always, so we'll just leave them alone. We want it to be that if we don't have any further need. And one thing I'm also going to put in here is a circuit condition. I'm going to say if red is greater than 0, that is something that I use in a lot of my rails. It's just so that I can feed a station a red signal and anything that's there will just immediately leave. It's kind of handy to have. Okay, so it's there, but it has nowhere else to go. Now, one fun thing to note about rails is that they are so incredibly, minimal that they have 0 output of pollution, which makes a fair degree of sense, I know, but it means they neither attract aliens to attack them, nor do aliens really care that they exist. It is incredibly rare that you'll find aliens doing any kind of damage to rails. They'll do damage to signals on occasion, they'll do a lot of damage to power lines, if the power line happens to get in their way, but you will very, very, very rarely see any damage done to rails, so you can place them basically wherever you like. Okay, let's clone that, and set that to P-gas out. Okay, and let's tell our train over here to go to P-gas out until inventory is full. And along it comes. Now we are going to need a number of things known as pumps, which we didn't use up here, to actually get the petroleum gas in there. But for now, it's about good. And we can also just stop and give it some better fuel. Which we can actually start chucking it in right now. We will be setting up an actual feed later on, so that it gets here, it's always filled up. But for right now, we'll just deal with this. There. Okay. So, do we have... Of course we do. I was going to say, do we have any pipes I can just map off of here? Yes, we do. Alright. Now, there are 3 points and 3 tanks in every sort of tanker wagon here, and you need to make sure that you actually feed all of them, because otherwise it's going to end up weird, and I remember that these pumps are actually 2 spaces wide. That might be helpful. There. Of course, there is an actual capacity to pipes, so you need to bear that in mind as well, but for right now, we should be fine. So let's do that, and there, and let's leave a space of 2 there to go to there, and a pipe, so there. Okay. And I don't believe that we have any of the, I don't believe we have any engines and pipes and stuff in place yet, so let's just get in here. We can switch this to manual if we wanted to drive it around, but it's easy just to let it do the driving. And it doesn't go as fast as it could possibly go right now, but it is nonetheless beating our car for speed at its top. Our car, which is conveniently placed around about here. So yay. I can come back and get back in the car. But anyways, we need some engines. Did I set engines to be made down here? I did not, but I did make pipes down here. Which are also significant here. So let's grab a few of those. And a few more engines. No, that's what I'm remembering. I set that up here. Which is less useful right now. So later on, when we actually have to get more things, like, trucked into the actual area, then we can start to worry. But for right now, just a single line with a bi-directional train is about all that we need. Let me see, we need at least 1 to take it out, and another 3 per wagon, so that's 9 by itself. That means we need 10, we currently have enough for 6. I'm guessing that's because of the iron? Nope, it's because of the steel. Yep, there we go. One more than that. Okay, that should be enough. Now, where did I leave the car? I say, dude over yonder, wherefore art mine car? There it is. Another topical reference that makes me feel very old, realizing how old the reference that actually is. Okay. Generally speaking, you shouldn't be too cavalier about driving over rail lines, but since our particular charge here is not moving in the slightest, we're fine. But it is worth noting that pretty much trains are the #1 player killer in the game after a certain point, so be careful. You don't want to get hit by these, they will just take you out entirely. Okay, so we do that, and we can see it's highlighting the different engine parts. So we want to go there, there, and there. There, there, and there. You can switch it over if you like, but you just need to be wary. You'll know if you've connected them properly because they will swiftly hook in to your train when they're about right. And I'm actually going to take out these 2 intermediates and switch those for undergrounds, just so that we can walk in between them if we need to. A little bit of a maintenance thing more than anything else. There, 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 there. And let's bring them up to there. And let's hook power there. So yep, they've hooked in and they are now providing all of the petroleum gas into our train. Lovely. Now these have fairly high volumes, 25k per, so this can carry 75k of petroleum gas. Not quite sure exactly how we factor how much that should be on the basis of actual gas volumes and such, but, you know, yeah, for right now it's fine. Okay. Now, for our ideal of 80 items a second on the red circuits, we're going to need 25.6 maxed out overclocked chemical plants working to make plastic bars out of petroleum gas and coal. That works out to be not easy, but nonetheless, it's also a lot more petroleum gas than we're currently making, but we don't have water up here because there isn't very much water in the world, really. So, yeah, like, we're more or less huddled around one of the very few places that actually has water. Gets better as you go out, but we're not near all that way out, so, yeah. Anyways, it is going to wait here until it is full, and then it will actually leave for our P-gas in station. So let's go and get started on that. So, much like our P-gas out, we want to align with these markers so that we can get all of our steps out. 2 spaces in between, there we go. Okay. And just like before, we're going to try and make these a bit more passable, so we can actually move in between them. And add power. And that's more or less it. That will get us all of our petroleum gas out. Now, we are going to want to actually have tanks here. Not the kind I'm looking for, more the storage ones. And that will allow us to store the 75k of petroleum gas coming down the line. I need steel for this, okay. Steel is not that far away. And we are looking to have about 6 is my usual go-to number. There we go. So I'll grab a bit more iron just while I'm at it. And there we go. Okay. So we're gonna grab them over here. We're gonna maybe want to have an actual pump going in here, so we'll just give it a bit of room. And as you can see, these are 2-directional, so we're going to try and just sort of make ours into a nice little pretty shape that means that they can all connect to each other. They can only connect by these points on the side, so be careful of that. And then we're going to ring these all together with some wire. So we can now outpull all of the actual size of how much is going on in here. And we're going to use our wire to hook over to here. And we are going to say, we can actually try a little bit more intelligent with this. So let's grab a couple of decider combinators. These are part of the wire system. So do, and there. And if we connect that signal to there, that tells us how much is actually in the system. And we are going to say, do I have any red on me? I don't. Let's quickly make a little bit of red wire. So red to there, there. Okay, so if petroleum gas is lower than, let's say, 60,000, then I'll put a green signal. And if petroleum grass, wow, I've invented a new form of life, is greater than 70,000, then we'll output a red signal, which will immediately tell the train to go away. We no longer need it. I'm actually going to lower that down to 30. So if we drop to below 30, then we'll start that up. And we want to send the signals to the train. We want to enable, disable. So enabled condition, green greater than 0. Okay, let's get this some power. Can we just barely do. It's fine, I can shift this over. I think. There we go. Okay, so got a 0 coming in here, so the signals coming out of here is 1 green, which means that this is active. And once our happy little train over here finally fills up, it's only on 16k right now instead of its 75 max, we'll actually be able to deal with it. And yeah, we do have stuff coming out, it's just not very quickly right now. Really do need more oil. That's the main thing here. That one lonely little pump jack. Just really not covering it. But there's more up here, so we might even set up another train just to go and get oil. Which eventually we'll have to anyways, so there's that. But okay, let's just grab another pump. Stick that over there, and that will put it all swiftly into this tank. Okay. The amount of plastic that's going to be made by these chemical plants is enough to fill 4 blue belts. So it's probably worth it if we split this down into 4 distinct sections. 4 groups of 7 to be exact, because the nearest multiple of 4 into 25.6 is 28, so makes the most sense. So let's see, we're going to need quite a bit more than that, double that in fact, and for that we need more pipes. Or, you know, just more iron in general, really, that'll do the trick. 89. There. Okay. That's gonna take forever and a day to craft, so I'll see you back in a moment. And done on the crafting, and just in time for me to be just about done laying the foundations for this. So ignore that these are currently set to be making solid fuel. We're just going to be changing that over to our plastic. And we've set this up in the manner of, we've got three lines coming in for the coal that are then being grabbed by the long-handed inserters, and then all of the petroleum gases coming in just from these two inner lines. So that should give us 4 output lines in total that we can then meld together in a 4-to-4 and have nice and balanced into 4 lanes that we're going to need to feed directly into our red circuits. Probably not going to have that whole thing running today, just by sheer virtue of how long it's going to take for our petroleum gas train to fill up once. But it might even be worth me just running up there and giving it a bunch of speed modules. They're only very small speed modules. Oh, and I can't even do that because I need advanced circuits to do it. Perpetual is thy suffering. But okay. So that's all of the power. Just need to add pipes. Being careful not to get stuck in there, which is entirely possible and highly unpleasant. Okay, and conveniently, we do in fact have 2 outputs over here. So let's grab a couple of pumps and get them. Again, it's not going to be doing anything today, but it will at least be ready to go. If I actually waited for it to be ready to work, then we'd probably be here all day. Well, you'd be here 5 seconds. I would be here all day. And that wouldn't be very fun for me now, wouldn't it? There we go. So everything's got power, everything's ready. We don't have any coal over here, obviously, but hey, that's next on our little job list. Now, how is our guy? Oh, that's not good. There's defenses over here, but I don't know that that's enough. I'm suddenly very glad I grabbed more bullet. I also have a bunch of grenades on me should the mission call for it. I really don't want our first shipment of petroleum gas to get blown up by people nomming on it because they didn't like the way that it was made of chrome, I guess. I don't know. Okay, all of these can cover each other. That should be enough to ward off all of what's going on down there. Probably not, but hey, I'll take my chances and hope. Now here I actually have 1 pump providing for 9. You ideally don't want to be doing that, but we have such a small flow, it's not really even that huge of a concern. So yeah. Ow. I also started up the stack inserter research, and I also got the modular power armor, which is, well, it's not even modular power armor, it's just modular armor, which is the next step of armor above what I've currently got. It's not actually that useful, because we need a whole bunch of stuff that we can't currently get because of the petroleum gas requirements to make it useful, but solar energy, that we can actually make some use of. It'll help our power, and it'll also not jack up our pollution in the process. Let's have a quick saunter over here, see how we're doing with the coal. we are almost certainly going to want to replace this. Yeah, things were already draining off here. Not good. I'm going to be dragging grand total of 80 per second out of this in the very near future. So yeah. Not gonna last very long. Not gonna last very long. But either way, we need this for right now. So we need to be taking 2 lines. Well, 3 lines in fact, to bring them down here. 3 is an awkward number for Factorio, but we're gonna try. So let's start just by... Should we just take that line? So we already had that being split anyways. Bring that down. Let's just get it on a build of its own. Bring it over a bit. Just watching myself on the map to know where I am. But for reference, I want to be... That's complete nonsense, but it'll show up for me to actually reference, so it's more useful than nothing. There we go. There. Aim it down. And there we go. Oh, it'll be like Christmas when that train finally gets here. Which, I usually have to travel for Christmas, so for me it would be like Christmas. Okay, now we don't need to actually be shoving this into our train. So we can just completely bypass the train itself. Get a few more lines. Whoop, nope, there's a rock in here. A big rock. Big old rock. The perennial foe of train lines. And progress in general. There we go. Okay. There we go, that's a start. We're already causing problems for our coal up there, but it's fine for now. One there. And just in time for me to run out of undergrounds. Let's see, we just need the one, and I don't have enough materials on me to make one. Ugh. Okay, well we're not that far from the mall. One quick trip over there. Oh, wait, except the car's all the way up here. Dang. Ah. But if we get this, we will be technically functional on making plastic, so hey, there's that. Just mind the big rocks, and the even bigger rocks that are known as radars. There we go. Right. Okay, that's coal getting sufficiently into all of these. We've got 2 full pumps coming out for this. That'll be 2 full lines of gas. And that will be ready to spit out some petroleum, some plastic when we next get here. Oh, and we have company. Grand. Just in time. Oh, they're tiny. Oh, they're little neighborhood kids come to... Never mind. I mean, if you will play in the old copper mine before the vampire dens have been cleared out. I mean, this will happen, folks. I mean, look after your kids. Tell them about the vampires in the old copper mine. I'm just gonna get my bar because they're actually really useful. So yeah, to make this, I'm gonna need advanced circuits. So we need the plastic. So we need the gas. Yeah. Perennial problem. I'm gonna shut up about it. We're just gonna get this done. How is our train doing up here? What's it up to? 19k. Yeah. It hasn't even gotten up to the capacity of 1 of these wagons. Let alone 2 of them. Or 3, for that matter. It's not even up to half on the highest one. But it's working. It's working. And it's not really using fuel while it's just sat there, so hey, there's that. And this is possibly the most heavily fortified area we have on the map right now. This one lonely pump jack. Oh. Neighbors are gonna hate you when you're actually up and running properly. But, anyways, that is all that I am physically capable of showing you guys today, so hope you've all enjoyed. Catch you all next time.